Hello and welcome. This is the split strategy for division explained. So the split strategy for division is an efficient mental strategy that we can use to solve certain division problems. There are 3 steps. Step number 1, we need to split the dividend into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. Step 2, divide each part. Step 3, add the parts. Let's look at step 1. There's some language in there that is a bit tricky. I haven't heard of certain things there. Split the dividend. What is the dividend? Well, the dividend is this number. It's the number that we are sharing. It's called the dividend. And while we're on that, let's look at what this number is called. This number is called the divisor. Divisor. And the divisor is the number of groups we're sharing into. So dividend is the amount we're sharing, and the divisor is the number of groups we're sharing among. Okay, so split the dividend into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. So what does divisible mean? Well, a number is divisible by another number if it can be shared equally. So 20, for example, is divisible by 4 because it can be shared equally, 20 can be shared equally into 4 groups. That means each group will get an equal number without any left over. Each group will get 5. So 20 is therefore divisible by 4. 12 is divisible by 3 because 12 can be shared equally among 3. And each group will get 4. So 12, therefore, is divisible by 3. So a number is divisible if it can be shared equally. All right? So let's have a look at step number 1 again, now that we understand some of that language. We have to split the dividend, so this number, into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. All right, let's try that. So we've got 812. Let's split it into some smaller parts to start off with. So 812, let's try splitting it into its place value part. So 8, that 8 stands for 800. That 1 stands for 10. And that 2 there is 2 ones. Okay, so I've split it into smaller, more manageable parts, but are they divisible? Well, let's have a look. 800. Well, I know that 8 is divisible by 4. 8 shared between 4 gives me 2. So 8 is divisible by 4, so 800 should be divisible by 4. Good. What about 10? Is 10 divisible by 4? Well, I know that 8 is divisible by 4. 8 can be shared into 4 groups. But 10 can't. 12 can. 10 is not divisible by 4. 10 will not share equally among 4. There will be some left over. So we can't split it into these parts. We've got to think of some other parts that we can split 812 into. All right. I've got it. We said that 800 is divisible by 4. What about 12? 800 plus 12, that's 812. We've split it into smaller parts. 800 is divisible by 4, and 12 is divisible by 4. There we go. Step 1 complete. All right, let's see. What's step 2? Divide each part. Okay, let's divide each part. So 800 divided by 4 will give us, well, I always like to think of these as multiplication. I like to think backwards. So something multiplied by 4 gives me 800. Well, I know something times 4 will give me 8. I know that 2 times 4 gives me 8. 2 times 4 gives me 8. So wouldn't 200 times 4 give me 800? Yes. And then 800 divided by 4 is 200. Good. Well, let's do 12 divided by 4. All right. 12 divided by 4, well, that's easy. That's 3. So now I've completed step 2, divide each parts. Now, step 3, add the parts. 200 plus 3 is 203. 203. And there we go. We've used the split strategy to divide 812 by 4. Let's have a look at another one. 621 divided by 3. So if you remember, the first step of this procedure is to split the dividend into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. So this number was the dividend. We split it into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. Let's try splitting it into its place value parts. 600 plus 20 plus 1. Well, 600, is that divisible by 3? I know 6 is divisible by 3, so therefore 600 should be divisible by 3. Is 20 divisible by 3? I know 18 is divisible by 3, and 21 is divisible by 3, but not 20. So I can't split it into these particular parts. But I've just got an idea. What if I combine the 20 and 1? Is 21 divisible by 3? Yes, absolutely. So I've split it into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. Step 2 was to divide each part. So 600 divided by 3 gives me, well, we think multiplication, something times 3 gives me 6. What times 3 gives me 6? 2. So 200 times 3 would give me 600. Now 21 divided by 3. 7 is our answer. Step 3, add the parts. 200 plus 7 is 207. We did it. Alright, let's take a look at one more. 112 divided by 4. 112 divided by 4. Step 1, split the dividend into smaller, more manageable, divisible parts. Let's try looking at it and, okay, so 100, well, isn't 100 made up of 80 and 20? And they're both divisible by 4. And then at the end, I can see this number 12. And that's divisible by 4. Okay, so 80 plus 20 plus 12. Split it up. I'm ready to go. Let's do 80 divided by 4, which will be 20. Let's do 20 divided by 4, which will be 5. And then 12 divided by 4, which will be 3. And notice how I'm lining up the place values ready for my addition. I can do this in my head, but it's just good practice. So 25 plus 3 is 28. And that's our answer. That is the split strategy for division. Goodbye.